Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've done. We actually started with the slicing.
Mm-hmm.
You actually know how to use the various functions like the find and the find, the R strip, those functions.
Okay. 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 That's fine. Who else? Any? Mm-hmm. Any summary? Okay. So now, what I would say is that thank you for coming up. So we've done a lot so far. We've gone through the basics understanding of Python. So I took you from basics. I make you understand that Python is an object-oriented programming. So everything when you want to write a Python code, you need to picture in terms of objects. So I did explain to you, and then I told you some important functions that you need to know that you will be using it more often. That's the directory, which gives you the directory of any it can be any module or something that you want to use. You could check the directory and see what are some of the functions that module. Next point is the help function, which gives you more details about a particular object. So you want to know more details of that object, you can use the help function to be able to do that. So we went through that. Then we came in like now to start Python programming. One important thing you need to know is where you will store data, because you even if you want to use data, you need to think about storage. So we said to store a data, and I say that a variable is not just a variable, but just you can take it like a label where you give a name. So with that label, you can assign a different value to it, but depending on the label. So if I've labeled this mango, it tells me that it's mango that is inside. I can remove the mango label and put something different inside and give a different label. So we will see that we're able to assign a value to the same name, and then it works. But when you call, you get the same thing. Okay, so that is what we did. And I said you use the equal sign. In the equal sign, we don't call it equal, we call it assign. So you use your assignment operator. So you assign a value to a variable. So on your left side is a variable, on your right side is to a variable. Okay, so that is what we did. And I told you about we able to use the other data type that comes in. So we talked about the number data type which has integer and the float. We went about the string, we talked about the boolean and all those stuff. Okay. And I have explained to you that anything within the code, either a single as a string, and the difference between integer and a float is a decimal point. So if integer is a whole number, a float has a decimal. Okay, so we went through that, and then I also explained to you what a boolean is. A boolean. So I said a boolean simply means true or false, which is also zeros and one. So any empty number. So if I have a string, empty string it has nothing. So you went through that, and so anything about Boolean, we've demonstrated that, so you understand that. Okay, and I told you how to use the bits and the bitwise operation. So we went through that by using the end, and I said end sign simply say it means what? End means that if you have true condition, then I'm using the end, all might be true. And then we can use the ampersand sign too for the end. We did for that, we saw the bitwise end, and we did about the or. We talk about the not. Then when anything is true and we place not there, it change it to the opposite, making it false. Okay, so we went through all these things, and then we came back to collection type. Okay, so with the collection types too, I told you collection types that you can see are the dictionary, the set. So we went through that. Okay, so when we were done with that, then we came in details to talk about each component. So I did talk extensively about the integer. We did some work with that. Then we came to floats. We did some work with that. Then I moved to string. So we realized that we talked a lot about the string, and then I told you some property that the string has. Okay, so some of the properties about was let's say title is one, I can get capitalized is one, you can use splits, you can use let's say a digit is digit and all those things. So these are all the properties that you can get from a string. Okay, so when you have a string, and then you can also decide to change it. Maybe I want to use a string, and then I realize that the properties that I want to use for the string is not there. Maybe I can get that property from a list. I can convert my list to maybe a string, and I show you the conversion how to do that. Okay, so we can use the joint to change a list to what a string, and when we are done with that, we can use the split to change it back the convention. So we did that, manipulate some data and stuff. So once we are done with the string, I move back to what we call a list itself, and then we went through the list, and I said a list symbol simply you use the word open and close square bracket for a list, and the constructor for a list is what list. So list, then open and close brackets. When you put that, that's the code. So we went through that and look at some properties of a list. Okay. So you can use the append, you can append a list to that, and then we try some work with that and see how you be able to append and all those things. We did a lot about that. Okay. So when you look at all those properties and what we can use those properties for, so I did some example for you to look at them. Okay, so you can do the reverse and all those things within a list. Okay. We also deal with the sorting. You can do sort, and I taught you the difference between a sort and sorted. Like I said, sort actually affect the original data. Sorted does not affect the original data. So we went through all these properties, and then today I said we'll be moving to another one, and that is we'll be talking about a dictionary, which is part of maybe set. Okay, so that is in summary what we've covered so far. Okay, I hope it's clear.
Yes, please.
Okay, so today
Yes, please, sir.
so let's look at dictionary. So dictionary is another collection type that we need to look at. Okay, so here we have, anytime you think you want thing to come in, like we have a key and a value. Okay, unlike a string and maybe a list, they use indexes. Okay, so it's ordered. A string and a list are ordered. Ordered means that they follow a particular pattern. Okay, so you can sketch them. So if you see that in the zero move, there's one, there is ordered. Okay, it's sequential. But when it comes to dictionary, it's not ordered. It's on ordered. Okay, so to be able to accept or get a data from a dictionary, we need a key to be able to do that. So we call it key value pair. So a dictionary is a key value pair. So that is one thing you need to look at. And then another functionalities that you can get from a list, one is this, a key. So if maybe I want to get a key from all the keys from a dictionary, I use the keyword key. If I want to get the values, I use the values. Then if I use a method like item, what I do, it gives me both the key and the value in what? In a tuple format. Okay. And then get, now decide to get the value. So here you can get the value here. Okay, so we use the get method here just for us to not to get an error message. Okay, so you can call the value and they'll get the value, or you can use the key to get the value. But when you use a key and the key does not exist, it will throw an error. Okay, but when you use get method and the key does not exist, it doesn't throw an error. So that's what you have here. So, and then you can use the pop. So the pop also work the same way. So you can pop, what do we call? You can remove an item from a dictionary if it exists, okay, or get the default value when it's none. So you already know a default value, what none simply means. Okay. But what we are saying is that it does is an error, key error, if the default is given. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to look at. And then we can also set a default value. So for instance, if I want my dictionary to follow an ordered structure, ordered way. So maybe when I insert this one, it should come the first, the next, second, third. You can use the set also. So now set default function. So what I do, it gives you the default value. Okay, so if I say set, so the set operation act like get, but what I do also create a new key value pair in the dictionary using the key. Okay, so now this goes to get, but then it does is when nothing, no key exists. So for instance, if my key exists and I want to use the set default, it will do nothing. Okay, because that key already exists. So when you do that, nothing will happen. But if the key does not exist, and then it's going to what add up to that. So maybe we will go through that as well. And then you can use from key. So from key operations is another way that you can also use this medium to get things done. Okay. So let's see, the main point here is a key. So I have a dictionary and then I have my key. So this is how this thing is done. So you see that we say key pairs. So you need to have your key, so, and then the value. Okay, so that is a dictionary, a key and a value. And a dictionary can also contain it can contain a data type like a list. It can have a string. It can have integer. It can have a dictionary itself. Okay, as a value. Okay, so this is the value part, and then this is what the key part. So the key value, key. So you can see here, this is an integer, it's a key. So you can use an integer for a key, and then you have what the value, okay, and then we have a string, and then the value. So that is how this one is. So if I want to access any information, then I will use the key to get the value, to give you the value. When you see, if it was a list, we will use what the index and to give you the value. Okay, so this is how this one is being done. Okay, so now I want us to look at this. Then when you see date function type, so this one also give you, that's the constructor for a dictionary. So instead of me using the sign, I can also use this. Okay, and everything will work perfectly. Okay, and we see that this is part of collection path module. Okay, so we can also look at that. So simply let's try our hands on something here. So I will type here Python. Okay, so I have this. So maybe my dick. Okay, and then I'll assign it to this. So with this one tells me that I've created what? A dictionary. And then I can also have this my underscore dick. And I can also do this. So when you have this, because we talked about dictionary can have a constructor like what you see here. So this is a constructor. So this tells you that it's also another way of creating a dictionary. So I can do this one and then do this. They are all the same. Okay. So now I'll call print. Let's check what we have. Either you use for this medium, I can decide not to print, but just call the name my dick. It's going to give me. So now you can see that I have empty. Now I can call my underscore dick. You can see here it's still empty. So I've created an empty dictionary. Okay, so this is empty dictionary. So you can see that it's an empty, there's nothing in there. Okay, so that is a dictionary here for me. Okay, now how do we check if this one is a dictionary? I've created this. Now, how will Python know that this is a dictionary? How will it know?
Hey, what's going on? Uh,
How would
you
Python know?
you can test it using the type function. Or
Okay. So how will Python know? So Python will only knows when you give the sign. Because this is a dictionary symbol. When you see the symbol, Python knows that you are talking about a dictionary. So it will accept. Now when you do this dict also Python knows that this is a constructor to create a dictionary. So Python will know that you are talking about a dictionary. Okay. So this is how Python will know. And maybe when I want to confirm that it's truly this is a dictionary, then I can use the type function. Okay, for Python yourself, you can use the type function to check the type just to confirm that this is a this truly dictionary. So now you can see my dict. Sorry, my dict, and then I'll come here and run this. So now you can see that class or dictionary. Let's check the my underscore date, and we will see that it's a dictionary. But what types of dictionary is this? What type of dictionary that I've created?
An empty dictionary.
Yes, empty dictionary. So we see that I've created empty dictionary. So you can create empty dictionary by using the symbol, the sign, or by using the construct. Okay, for the empty dictionary, the same as a list. You can create empty list by using what? The list symbol, like, or using the list constructor. So this is the list constructor, and then this is the list symbol. So in the same thing, it will all create empty list, and this one will create empty dictionary. Okay. So once we gotten this point, now we next will have to look at, if I want to assign a value to a dictionary, you need to use a key and a value. So for instance, this one is empty. So if I'm creating it myself, so I can say that my date, okay, my date 2, my date 2, and then I'll assign it to my dictionary here. And what do I need to do? I only need to place my key will be, let's say, first underscore name. Okay, and then you use the column. So column, then what comes in is what? The value. So the value, I'm also giving a string, so which will be my first name. Okay, so that is this. Okay, so which tells me that I've created a key value. So we call the key value pair. Okay, so this is the value. I can have another one, and then this time I'll put maybe last name. So my key is a string. You can have your key as a string. You can have your key as maybe integer and stuff. So now here I'll keep it and see that first, sorry, last underscore name. Okay, and then I'll place my name there. So what do I need to put in there? I'll just use okay, so I have this. Okay, so this is what I've been able to do. Okay, so now if I want to test any information from here, I will come here. Sorry, I made a mistake. So okay, I'm getting some error here. Who can help me now? You see where
Yeah,
this thing is.
please,
Mhm.
please, I was going to ask, when you were doing this, you see, you is a dictionary,
Mhm.
and you use the curly bracket. So I was going to ask why you didn't use the curly bracket here.
I use what?
You use the like
Oh, good. So now you've seen that what I've done here is wrong, right? Okay, so now this one is what? In the actual sense, the symbol
it's
that
a
I've
list.
created here is what? It's a list. Okay. So per list, a list was expecting me to put what? Comma. If you can see, that's where I'm getting the error. You can see where it's pointing. So list is expecting that I have here. So what I've done is not a dictionary. Per using that symbol, this one's supposed to be. Sometimes mistakes comes and a mistake here. You realize, thank you for correcting me. So now you can see that it did run because I used the open and close or square bracket, which is not for a list. Okay, so now I need to go back and then this because see that where it's pointing. So sometimes solving an error, you just check and see where exactly it's pointing. Okay, so that you know exactly what is happening and you can work it out. Okay, so now from your suggestion, what we've created with calibrate. Okay, so it means that here is supposed to be calibrate. Okay, so now that I've given calibrate, I can change my format to column. Okay, and then I'll come here and do the same. Okay, so now this is different. So now put the pen also do the same. Okay, so I can close this side with Kelvin. Okay, so now this one will work. Okay, thank you very much. So now you see that I made a mistake, but you were able to see the mistake that we are talking about Kelvin. So if you use a square, it means it doesn't mean we are talking about what additional list rather because of the symbol. Okay, so now that we've gotten this, now you can see that this is how you assign a value to a dictionary variable. So now if I want to get any information from this, what do I need to do? I need to use the key. If it was a list, I'll use the index. So now I'll call my variable name like my dick underscore two. Then I have this that is open and close square bracket. Inside, I'll place my key there. So my key, maybe I want to have first name. So I will type in first name. And this will give me access to the variable, sorry, the value. Okay, so once okay, so now if I also want to, you can see that we did the first one by creating an empty. So let's say you want to assign a value, you can also assign a value to a dictionary. So for instance, I have the empty one called my dick. So if I call my dick, it will give me empty, nothing. So let's assign a value to my dick. So to assign, what I needed to do is to say my dick then I'll use this sign, okay, which actually means that you are assigning a value to that. Okay, so I'll use here and say that age maybe. So under age, I'm still using the string key. Okay, so now I'll assign the value. So maybe my value may be 23. So that is the age. Okay, so in this case, when we call my dick, you could see that it's showing what 23. So it means that we've added the word. We need to use what the key. So I have my key and I assign the same as you are calling, you are printing for it. You use the key and then give you the value. So you can also assign to the key. Once I assign to the key, give me what is there. Okay, so that is how you assign a value to a dictionary. So you will see that once I did that to it, now I can also use the other one that we did here, my underscore dates. So you see underscore date. So my underscore date here is empty because we've not assigned anything. Let's assign it something to it. But this time we want to add maybe another another dictionary. So let's see. So now I have here my underscore dick. I'll give my key. So my key will be, let's say, um, country. Now I have my country. Okay, so instead of that, I'll assign a dictionary to that. So this is my dictionary value that I'm assigning. Instead of me assigning a string, first I've done a string and I've done an integer. So now I'm assigning a dictionary. So a dictionary here, I still need to have my key. So my key here can be a country can have a capital. So let's say capital, and then I'll give the capital a string again, and this time I will say O Orija. Okay, and then I'll have another one. What can let's say capital, then maybe region. So I could have region as a key. So region for a country. So region, and then I'll have a key for that, which is, let's say, Eastern as a region. Okay, so this is what I have. So once I assign this one to this, now you see that if I now call my dick underscore dick, you see I'll have my country, and then you see that they have capital and stuff. So let's see, I want to have access to this. So if I want to have access to, I use my country. So if I call my country as a key, you will see that you will see here We're going to place the quotes. Okay, so if I call my country as a key, now you can see that it gave me the value. And what is the value? So I can see capital, Koforidua, region, Eastern. So if I want to have access, not everything, just the value Koforidua, what do I need to do? Who can help? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Can
You will state the key, which is capital.
you say the key, which is capital? Yes. Go need to bring the key again. So the first key will give you the value of all. So if I want to have Koforidua, I need to add another key. So in this case, I'll put another key here. So the first key will give you access to the value for that dictionary. Then I want to go to the value. I need to get access to another value because so I need to say capital. Sorry. Capital. Okay. So now this one will give me Koforidua. So now you can see that I'm able to get access to Koforidua. So that is key value pair. So it works in that way. It's very easy to go through that. Okay. So now anytime I call my all that we've created all these ones. So if I call my dick, you could see that I have value. Okay, if I call my dick, you could see that we've added, there's no more empty. Okay, if I call my dick 2, okay, so that one to see that you also having some value. My dick 2 to also be having some value there. Okay, so this is how you add value and then how to access value using the okay. Now, when we come to this, and there are other functions that you can utilize to make your work easy. Okay, so for instance, we have a function like key. So this one, this is key. Okay, so what are this one? What are it do? It give you access to all the keys, and then we have here value here values. So what does it do? It also give you access to all the value. So I'll get all access to make value like Koforidua Eastern. And this one will give me all the keys like this one capital and then region. Okay. And if I want to get both, you use this one these items. Okay, so this one will give you both the key and the value, but it comes in the form of what we call a tuple. So list of tuple like this to come in the form of this. So you can see that we have something like this, and then inside that you have your key. So now I have all my key, which is you have and then you have the value, which is Koforidua, but all need to be in quotes. Okay, all need to be in quotes. So these are some of the functions that we can use. Okay, so when you check our notes here, you will see that there are other functions that we can use. Okay, and these are some of them. For here, I've explained that one. You should get the understanding. So now let's see this. So now you can see here, I have my keys. So this is the key. I have my values, and then I have my item. So with these two, will give me all the values that I want. So if I want to try this, because then the key value tuple respectively. So this one will give you the key and the value in tuple form respectively, and then put in the tuple like that. So that's how. So for instance, let's try this one out. By the way, if you have anything, for instance, what I just did, you realize that I've not done it well. So if maybe I want to run it, I need to comment it. So we use this sign to comment. So when I play this one in front here, so this is just a note. This is just something like hashtag in front. It means that I've commented this line. So it won't throw an error to me. So if I run this code, see that nothing, it won't say anything. For instance, I remove this sign from here. So sometimes you call this one a single line comment. Okay. So if I run this one, you see that it will throw an error. It will tell me something like that. But I know it's not defined, so just need it as a note. So to save yourself from that, place this one here, hashtag. So this one shows that it's just a comment. So I can run this and nothing will happen. So now let's use some of the functions that I talk about. So now I have here my dict. My dict, see what we get. So my dict.keys, and you can see that we only have one. Okay, so you can see that we only got what? Age. Okay, because only one key that we have here. Let's see another one. So underscore my underscore key. So in this case, so now you can see here we have what? Country. Okay, because we only have what? Country in here, because that word is going to give us the main one. So just the country that it will give us, so which is the key for that. Okay, if I also do the same way and then sees that I have to get the value, so now I'll change here to so this will run, and then you see that we have what? The values. So now here you can see capital, Florida region, and Eastern region. If I want the key and the value, because then key value pair, then we are going to use the item. So in that case, instead of value, I will change this one to items. So once I run this code, you could see that it will place it in the tuple form. So you can see here tuple, the key and then the value. Okay, in tuple form. So you can see, so a list of tuple, we call it a list. So you can see it's here and then the tuple. So if it's a big dictionary, to place them like that in a list of tuple. So all the tuple will be in one list, or list of what? Tuple. Okay. With this in mind, I believe we've gotten a basic understanding of what a dictionary simply means. And then, like I said, you can we can assign a default value and all those things. So like here, we can see set, like we have this one and create a value numbers. Okay, let's still use what we have before. So I have age. Okay, so if I call my pick, let's see what happened. So now you can see that I have the age. Okay, so let's say set default here. So the set default, we are going to use set default. What does it do? This operation set like get, but also create a new value pairs in the dictionary using the given. So for instance, if maybe I want to give a default value, now what does it do? It's going to check if this thing does not exist, and it's going to add a new one to that for me. So now I could use my Dick. So mine, I have set. Now set defaults. So set defaults, you have your key and a value. So if I say age, 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 and then maybe I place 20 something here, or let's say 2 here, and then you run this one. Sorry. On this line. No. Okay, so you let's go on. I'll revisit that. So now we have what we call the set. Now the next set here, what do we do with set? For set, as you can see, the set as a symbol here, we have set here, and we use Python set here to be able to check most of the things that we can do. Okay, so one of the things is want to go, maybe I want to check for maybe intersections and all. Set. We use set to be able to do that. Another point that we can use it for is to maybe when you want to avoid duplication. Maybe you are writing the code and you are duplicating. The value maybe one is appearing maybe 3 times or 4 times. So we want to avoid duplicates. So we use the symbol for set and the dictionary so is the same. So you can see here they all use open and close square curly brace. Okay, but the set does not use a key value pair. So that is the difference. So if I want to create a default set, we cannot use this one. I cannot use this one. If I say set, and then I will see something like this. Now, this one, Python will pick this one for a dictionary. Okay, so if I create something, and then I'll see my underscore set, and then this are okay. Now you see that this one, they all use the same symbol, but then the only way Python will know the difference is when you call. So now let's see, when you assign a value to this, before Python will know the difference. But when you use here, it's going to pick this one for a dictionary. So you can see here, this is set. Once I get dictionary, if I call my underscore, you can see this one is set. So you can see that it came as set. So this is set, but here this one is a dictionary. Then if I really want my set to be a set as I wanted, then I should place a value in there. So once you place a value in there, but we are talking about a set like here. If I now say 1, let's say 3, let's say 4, okay, and then run this one. Now when I call my set, you will see that it will give me set. Now you can see I have 1, 2, 3. This one is not a dictionary. Now let's check the type. So if I check the type here, you will see here that my set, let's see, you will see that here to come at what set, you can see that it's showing as what set, not what. Okay, now if I come back again and then check the other one here, it will also show set. So that is one thing that you need to take note of. They all use the same symbol, but if it's an empty set, you want to create an empty set, you don't use open and close curly brace for empty sets. We use the constructor for empty sets. But if you want to create a set or item inside, you can use open and close curly brace and you place your element. So the type of information that will be placed in will determine object that it will give out. Okay, so if here, for instance, if I did not see 1, 2, 3, and then I place key value pair, then it will tell me what is what additional. Okay, so that is one thing I want you to take note. Apart from that, use it for avoid duplications and all those things. Okay. Now, this is what we have here, and then you can see here we can also use, it has some inbuilt function that we can use. So we can use the in function here. You can use the subset. You can use a subset. We can use union. We can use for different. So these are the symbols. So now this is set here is what we call is the method that you can use. You can call, okay, or you can decide to use these ones. These are the symbols that you can also use that shows that a subset or stuff. And you also want to use union, we use the pipe, okay, or you can use the union as a method to be able to do that. And we have the intersection here to show intersection, and the different, we use this for different. And then we have symmetric difference. Let's go into now in mathematics. When we say union, what comes in mind? Let's get in mathematics. When you use the word union, we are talking about set. In set, when you say union, maybe A union B.
They're joining the elements of like the two sets together.
Okay, so you are joining the elements of the two sets together. So that is one. And then if we want to use another one, let's say intersection. Intersection. When we use the word intersection in mathematics, set.
Yeah. Okay. Intersection is like when you have two sets and they have the same elements. That's like intersection of the two sets.
Okay. So that is intersection. So what will be the difference? What will be the difference in mathematics? What will be the difference?
That's the difference between union and intersection.
Okay, it's okay. That's right. And then there's symmetric difference. Hello. So symmetric difference. Symmetric difference. I forgot to continue the recording. Sorry. So now let me go back to what I just started. Okay, so at least you can get the information back. Okay. So what I said here was simple. Now this information that I'm giving to you apply to all the objects that we've treated so far. So you can apply everything to all of them. Okay, so now I'm here and then I've created a set which is empty set. Okay, we really want to know, we see that everything Python, we think in terms of what object, because we are saying it's object oriented programming language. And the object, why in science we have class, like the species, like we have the mammals and all those things. That is the classification. Okay, so it's the same thing. And like most of you are science students, so human being, what class do we for human? Which class do we for in terms of the species? We are what? We are mammals, right? Are we mammals? Yeah, but we are all animals. Okay, you can see that we have animal, but under there we could get different classification. Okay, and then we have trees and all those things. So these are classifications. So that is a class. So when you think in terms of objects like that, then you can bring the subclasses. But each class also may have its functionality, what it can do, and that's where the methods comes in. Okay, so now I've created a class, let's say a set, let's say my set, and then I will put it to empty set. Okay, so this is it, and move down. So now I have it. So if I want to check a little bit and know some of the functionality of a set and everything, I don't need to go to Google. I can get most of the information here. So you just, once you created that, you can just go to print, and then in there and say help. And you go in there and say my set. So here you get a lot of information from here. So now you could see the class, and it tells you that it's a new empty set object. So it tells you this one, this is the empty set object, this sign. So a new empty set object, okay? And set is attributable. It means that when you say a set is attributable, what do we mean by that? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, when we see a set is attributable, or what do we mean by that?
Can be altered.
Yeah, no, that is mutable. Okay, but I'm saying attributable.
Like you can look through the set.
Yes, like you can look through the set. Okay, so now you get all the basic information about it. So this, when you understand it, the rest you can build upon it on your own. So now you can see that when it comes to set, you know that if I want to create an empty set, this is what I need to use. You can't use the set same with dictionary. By default, pick that for dictionary. So you use this one for empty sets. Then you have the set is an attributable. You can look through it what element by using the for loop. And you see the build and unordered is unordered collection because it does not follow a particular pattern. If I add, I'll be adding it, just adding it anywhere, but you won't follow that. Okay, this one came first, the next one and stuff. And then we look at the methods that you can gain. So all these ones are methods. Okay, all these ones are methods. I'm doing enter. So for now, some of these things you don't need to worry yourself about them. But the basic one that I want you to take note is the down there, which is part of the node that I've given you. So you could see here we have the add, which you can add and you can use it to add an element to a set. Okay, have the clear, you can use to clear all the elements. Okay, you can have copy, so you can copy one set to another, okay, by using the copy. Okay, so function, then you have the difference, so you can return the difference of two sets or more. Okay, so these are the set different updates, so remove all the elements of another set from each set. Okay, so that is, you can see the discard, then you can see the intersection. Okay, you can see that. So all this one that we went through, now all this information that you see here, these are all part of what the set. Okay, so now my set that I just created here, if I want to get access to, this is my set. If I want to get access to any of the methods that you saw, like I said, a method, any function that is part of what a class is termed as what method, as you saw in there. we don't see function. When we are dealing with a class, we see method. But you can create a function on your own. That is not part of a class. We call it function. But the moment a function becomes part of a class, it's called method. So when we went there, you saw everything as method. Okay, so next to let's say add. Let's say add. Now we use what we call dot operator. Now you can see here, this is a dot operator. This dot operator will give you access. You can say, hey, what do you want to call? Then I can say, hey, I want to call maybe add. Okay, then it will give you access to that. So you might keep some in mind, some you don't remember. Anytime you can just refer, and get some of the methods, like maybe PyCharm, or you are using the Visual Studio Code. That one, when you do dot, it will pop up. It will give you all the methods that you can use. So you will choose the one that you want. But for now, we are learning hard way. So when you know them and get there, it makes it easy for you to do whatever you want. So now I have here so I want to add data. So my set dot for what I want to add. So I say add. So now I can use the add method here and say maybe I want to add 1. Okay. So when you run this code, now when I say my set, now you can see here that it will give me 1. Okay, so this applies to all, it applies to list, it applies to string, it applies to all of them. So any method that to call, okay, when you don't use the dot operator, it won't work for you. So now, for instance, all that we did before, we just created some of the file, like I just did maybe A, and then I assign A to, let's say, set, and I give 1, 2, let's say 3, 4, 10. Come back and then do maybe another set like B, which will also be for, let's see, 10, 3, 7, 5, 8, 9, 2. Okay, so with this one, we did the other thing, but if I want to add the 2, I can do A with the symbol A union B. So I'm adding the 2 together. So once I run this one, you see that it's going to give me this A union B. I can also do the same thing then using the dot operator and say union B. Okay, in this case, I'm using the function, the method itself, but I can also use the symbol. So you depend which one that you want to use, and you see that everything will be the same. Okay, so these are 2 ways. Either you use that or you use the symbol. So either you focus on the symbol or you focus on the list itself. So we've done a lot so far. If I want to clear, I can clear whatever that I just did by using A dot clear. So I call the clear function, and then I'll be able to clear everything. So I want you to resort yourself to some of the information, the understanding, how to get that by using the help. Okay, you can get a lot of, it just give you the same thing, and then you try your hands on them. Okay, just try your hands on some of these things, you get it well. Okay, so for instance here, when we come to this side, you can see here intersection. So I can use this symbol, or I can use the main method here as intersection. Okay, so whatever, that's how you want. Depending, once you understand and you see somebody's code, maybe the person is using this, you should know why this. You have a fair idea, so you can understand somebody's code. You can contribute somebody when you understand everything better. And now know how you go about some of these things. Okay. Now there's one more function that maybe I want us to look at, what we call collection. So now we've talked about collection type and all those. So for instance, where do I have it? Let's see, do I have it somewhere? Okay, I don't, but then let me take the opportunity to explain that briefly. So I can use the import. Now we use the import function to import a method. Okay, so I say the import collections. So now with these import collections here, there are a lot of libraries within the collections here that maybe I want you to take note. So from here, I can go into details of, yes, let's say printing. We can get a lot of information from this one. So I can see help, and then in front of this one, I will put in my options. Okay, so here I will type in print. So now a lot of information here. Okay, so you could see this one, we have counter. With the collection type, we can use collection to do one thing, name tuple. So that is a factory function for creating a tuple subclasses with the name field. We can use queued, okay, list like counter with the first append and pop up on either. We can use chain map, that dictionary like classes of multiple mappings. Okay, we can use counter. So this additional subclass for counting a hashable object. Okay, counter like this. Very soon you'll be using some of these. And then we have here, this one is called ordered dictionary. So ordered dictionary here, it is a dictionary subclass that remembers that ordered entries were added. Like we see that a dictionary is what? Unordered. I hope you remember. Want a dictionary to be ordered, then you can use this one, ordered dictionary. So the ordered dictionary will definitely make the dictionary ordered. Then we have user dictionary wrapper around a dictionary object for easy dictionary subclasses and stuff. So for instance, if I want to use this one, ordered dictionary, yes, I want to use ordered dictionary. Now, because you know this whole thing came with that, okay, import this, okay. So for instance, I will just can see more of the information about that, how to go at it, how to use them. But for now, I'm interested in just one thing. Okay, so I just want us to use so they can see the classes and everything, how to do that. All the informations are here which you can use. You can see here ordered dictionary. So if you the class ordered dictionary is there a lot of information about this. Okay, so these are handy. So now it's okay. So now I just want to show you this part. Okay, so what I'm going to do that I'm going to say from collection. I just want to use one thing. So from collections, now I say import ordered dictionary. So it means that I only need ordered dictionary. You can see that all the other libraries that were imported, I don't need them. So I only need ordered dictionary. So I will just import the ordered dictionary like this. Okay, so now I've imported that. So I can say D, maybe D, that is my variable name, and then create my ordered dictionary by using this name, ordered dictionary here, as you can see here. Okay, so with this one, when you create ordered dictionary value here and then you add anything, it's going to be unique. It's not going to add that one in the other form that we saw. Okay, so I have my ordered dictionary here and I'll create the dictionary value here. You link this one. So now if I want to use, I will just call this one dictionary. If you want to assign a this, we use the key value pair. Okay, so if I'm using the key value pair, I can add the value to a dictionary. So I can see that king is a D. Okay, and then I'll use maybe name. So I've assigned this one to this. So it's now I want my dictionary to be ordered. Unlike before, that is not ordered. So this name will come first. So if I say D, so the D will show me, you can see name and then the Kingsley. That is the first. I can add age and it will continue. It won't mix them up. It will be ordered. That is sequential. So if I want to add another one and say age, so now here I'll put in age. That is, you want everything to be ordered. Okay, so age. I will just change this one to an integer because I'm dealing with age. Let's say 23. Okay, so if I call my D, you will see that everything is ordered. You just follow that. Okay, so that is what we call ordered dictionary. So you want everything should be ordered. So you could do the same thing because you already know dictionary is unordered. Okay, so when you do that, it's not going to follow that, going to add it without anything. So for instance, I will do maybe another one, say D1, and then create this dictionary, the normal dictionary. Sorry, normal dictionary. Okay, and then add the same value to this. So I'm going to add the same value and say D1. Okay, and then I'll have name. Okay, and I'll assign it to a value. So this value that I'm giving, I'm still giving case. And then I have another one. Say 23. So now when I say B_1, okay. So this is how it goes. But when it's having is a big gap, you will see that this thing will not. But here actually, because you see that the way it has grouped it by the name. It will make it a list of tuples. So you can see here a list of tuples. So you can see the name and this, the name and this. So this is ordered as group, but this one is not ordered. So that is the difference. So when you want an ordered dictionary, you can import the ordered dictionary from collection, and there are a lot of libraries that you can get from collections if you want to write all those things. So I think when you get to more of the practical side, you'll be able to get all these ones in application. So for now, I just want you to take note that all these things are there, all the resources are there, so you can just use them. And now you know a class, what a class stands for. Class simply means object. So everything that we know, the data type, all of them are objects. All of them are objects, and all of them have what we call. And if you want to if you want to use any of the methods, you use the dot operator. If you need the information how to use them, you can go to the help and you can get information from how to use each what methods from the objects. Okay, so we will end here. If you have any question, you can ask.
Please, with the ordered dictionary, so you import it. While importing, that means you can use the ordered dictionary.
Yeah, because it's part of the collection library. Okay, it's inside. It's part of the collection library. So you have to import from collection. So you can see here from collections import ordered dictionary before I can use it. If I have not done this line first and I try to use ordered dictionary, to throw an error that it hasn't been defined. Okay, so you need to these ones. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any question again?
No.
Okay. Okay. So what I want you to do, just take some time, go through the materials that I've given you. Okay. Then try to use the help functions of the information yourself, apart from what I've given to you. Okay. It's another way of learning. Okay. So try and go there and try and find some of them and try to create some form of a dictionary, try to access it, try to use the clear, try to use, well, there are a lot of the methods there. Maybe it's not all of them that I've given you, but the most important ones I've given you all. So you stick to that, and then you get the understanding, and then you understand the whole Python ecosystem. You can do a whole lot on your own. Okay, so next we will be moving to, now we are done with dictionary, we are done with sets. Okay, so just through them, our next phase, this is what we will be doing. You go, Our next topic will be so we'll be looking at blog and comments. I think I even said about comments. We'll be looking at the scenes and blog and comments. So very important topic that we need to understand. So I'll take my time and explain what the sequence means. I've been talking about sequence, but then we go into details. Then the blog, what do we mean by blog? The comments. Today I made mention of a comment. So maybe you may have idea what a comment is. Okay, so thank you very much, and then see you next week. Bye bye.
Please, a last question.
Okay.
Is that what we did today? But the other day, there was this thing. They said that in the notes, like said that like you can convert the byte data type to any data type using the like something called struct. My question is, how do you do that? Or is it really not needed? I just wanted to know. I tried it. It gave me like they gave me an error. They said I should import the struct, but is it very important?
It's not all that, but then I have another class. So let's see next week when we meet, I will talk about that for you. Okay. But once you want to know, it's fair enough to treat that for you. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
just remind me next week I will do that for you. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.